Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on into another Man Cave 101 special presentation. Today, we're bringing you our Artist Spotlight, episode 9. Wow, 9 already. Before we get into it, let me introduce the guys live from the Man Cave. His enemies are still searching for him. He's attacking Wakanda constantly. Kalo K, the Mamawana god.
Nah, we cool now, man. We sharing empanadas. I get to ride the rhino every once in a while. We good.
The funny part is he was invading because he was out of Mamawana and he heard that along with Vibranium they had Mamawana.
Yeah.
So we needed it. Brooklyn in the house. Big Jace, what's happening?
Salute. Welcome back, everybody.
And I am your man in the chair, AA Ron. So yes, like I said, we are going to be doing our Artist Spotlight episode 9. We have a bunch of back episodes for you guys to check out as well. You can find us as usual, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, Twitter, and Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Wow, that's getting harder.
You get it.
They're pretty good, though.
But anyway, without further ado, let me introduce our special guest for this evening, Tarik Holmes with TDJ Comics Studio. What's going on?
What's up,
everybody? What's going on?
What's up? Welcome, Tarik. So, first of all, welcome to Man Cave, and thank you for spending a little time with us, man. We started the beginning. How did you get started in this industry?
So, ever since I was a kid, loving comic books, my uncles introduced me to the comic book industry. They were mainly Marvel fans, so the usual Avengers, Spider-Man, whatever. And so
obviously good guys.
Yeah,
setting you off right, the right path.
Yeah, you raise a kid in the way you go.
Yeah. So ever since then, I grew my love for the comic books and the characters, and then instantly, like when I was in elementary, I was like, I need to make a superhero. And so that's where it led to me creating, my own characters, my own universe. And then down the line, here I am right now, where I officially launched my my universe with my first series. So I've been a comic fan ever since, and I'm still going strong.
Hey, that's what's up, man. We all kind of come from the same meager beginnings, man. Getting our first comic book, getting that drug in the vein, like, hey, I like this. I like the feel of this, and and here we are going. So, you currently have your own publisher, or are you publishing through somebody else, or how does that work with you?
So I am my own self-publishing. So everything, all the series runs down to my my comic book name, which is TDJ Comics Studio. So we are currently working on, I think it's 3 titles so far. And so we're essentially, launching this first phase into the universe under the TDJ name.
Okay. That's what's up. All right, so tell us about your character and your stories. What does he do? Why does he do it?
Right. So Atlas is simply a story of this kid, who recently lost his mother from an accident. And it just happened all of a sudden, he was on his way to pick up his mother. His mother works at this laboratory, and she went missing. And then what happened is that all the crimes leading to where in this city that he's living in, there's a huge war going on between these superpowered individuals called the elites. And these are just criminals who have all these crazy powers. So one got lightning, one got fire, one got, cloning, like all these like different type of superpowers going on. And they're waging war against his hometown because of the corruption that's happening in the city. And so Atlas is in the midst because he's while he's on a quest to find his mother, this is going around in the middle. So he has to juggle what's going on, because it also ties into the backstory of what happened to the disappearance of his mother. And so that's where it picks up, where in that story, Atlas is mixing, trying to figure out what to do, what's the next phase to do while all this crisis, this chaos is happening in this world.
Okay, so your main character is Atlas?
Mm-hmm. So yep, Atlas is the water guy. So he's simply a we call him one of the elementals. So we have 4 types of elements, of course, just like how the earth is. We got water, fire, air, and wind, and we call him the elementals because he's one of those individuals who was born with those superpowers. And so as the universe branches, it leads into how he becomes one of the elemental legends. And then on this quest, we find others that are like him. So there's a water-based one, there's a fire-based, there's a air-based, and then there's an earth-based. So, and it ties it into the whole universe, into how all these elements came to be.
Wow, really dope.
Okay.
So I think now would be a good time to actually put up the artwork, so this way everybody can take a look. If you want to talk about any of the characters, feel free to let us know who we're looking at, any of that. Obviously, I can pause as you need me to, so I'm just going to let it play through.
Yep, so I could tell you these two right here. So the first one, that's our main protagonist. That's Atlas. His name is Eric Finley. And he goes to college. He works as an engineering student. He works there by day, and of course, vigilante by night. And then on the right is this character we're bringing. Her name is Amara. She is an exiled warrior princess who was exiled from her own world, and she gets lost into this, venturing into all this different planet, places, and she happens to be in his hometown, and so we get to see her introduced in the first series. But she's basically a warrior, trained by his father, and then of course his mother as well. So they were some of the baddest, assassins in the land, and we'll tie into that more later. But she gets introduced in this first series.
Okay, so can I ask you a question? Cause go back one Aaron,
Sure,
please.
of course.
So I couldn't help but notice. So I had that exact high top fade, that flat top. I have that with the same
art.
With the same art. Like, so they live in Brooklyn, like.
Yeah, I'm bringing in that Brooklyn look to it. I mean, listen, my family's up in the north. They came from Jersey, New York, so I got to represent. So
there you go. That's it.
Yo, I had that same flat top with the part. Like, it was crazy. That's great. All right, good. The next.
I also just have to mention the artwork. The artwork style is really, really like I love this artwork style.
Yeah,
it's really
the
dope.
Artwork style is really dope, bro. We were talking about that earlier.
Yep. So
question: do you do I want to have to ask you: do you do your own art? Or you outsource?
I do my own art. I've been a self-taught artist since I was very young. So over the course of time, like as I was, learning the reading comic books, I was like, I want to do like one of these. So I've been, watching a lot of Steve Ditko, Todd McFarlane, just Campbell. Yeah, so a lot of the big leagues back in the day, and that's when I kind of like started practicing into my thing. So that's how it led into where I am now with this artwork.
All right.
Wow.
You're picking some legends right there, boy.
and you're picking it up real good, bro. I will tell everybody, I'm strictly here for the artwork. I love the artwork. This right here is absolutely dope.
Yeah,
thank you.
That is for sure. What character are we looking at here?
So this is the bad guy. His name is Keith Brock. This is the leader of the elites. And his mission, his goal is to tear down his city and rule over the city, because as in his background story, there's a lot of corruption, there's a lot of injustice going on in this land. Some people were deported, some people lost their citizenship. There was a lot going on back in this day, and so he's here to right his wrongs. And he started this powerful super powered type of criminal organization to basically tear down the walls of Arbo. In his own words, he says, I will with this power, I'm going to send Earth down to his knees. So that's the squad on the right side. So this is just an introduction of the main four that we're going to see in the series. So Keith is in the forefront, and then the other three are like kind of like the highlights of the more associates that work with him. So they will also be introduced in that first book too.
All right. Cool.
Let's go to the next.
Right. So the one on the left, that's Eric's father. His name is Lloyd Finley. He is the chief of police, so he's in charge of one of the districts in his town. And then he has a similar goal with Eric, except he abides by the law. So he's looking to put the stop into all this criminals that's going around and terrorizing the city, while trying to find answers as to what's going on, what's happening. So like we'll see that kind of dynamic with him and his son. Not knowing the son who his son is, but of course we'll see that dynamic where the son, he's relentless. He's on a vengeful quest. He don't care who he kills. He's trying to get some answers straight up and just go right to his mission. Whereas the father's just trying to go abide by the law and try to put a stop to the crime, but of course he's trying to get the answers as well. So we'll see that conflict within itself in the story. And then on the right, it's just a simple promotional thing. We see Keith versus Atlas. So it's just
you do know his gun's not big enough, right?
Yeah.
like what kind of criminals does he have? That gun is big as hell.
You see how big is the? You see how the big that is?
What the hell
You need a bigger than that.
You got pterodactyls in your city? What?
Like I tell you, man, that's the city is full of corruption and everything. So you gotta be prepared.
I ain't mad at him.
Yeah. All right, so this one, this is actually a collaboration I did with a friend of mine. His name is Isaiah Massey. He goes by ZayArts21 on Instagram and all the social media. So I've been a fan of his because he's also started his comic book work. So I figured, while I'm working on this series, I wanted to tag along with somebody and say, hey, would it be a cool idea if we did sort of like a Mortal Kombat thing where you see the characters on one side and then you see the villains on the other side? And he's like, yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be dope. So that's what we did. So on the left side, you see a mix of my characters mixed with his characters. So those are the heroes on the one side. And then you got your baddies, the villains on the right side. So you'll see, Atlas is in there. Amara is in the background as well. And then the three others are his characters. Then you got the villains, and those are a clash of villains. 3 of them I think you see are mine, and then the other 3 are his as well. But this is just a huge collaboration we did together because I've been a big fan of art trade and working along with some artists that there's a whole lot of inspiration from a lot of Black artists individually, and I figured this would be a good time to not just promote my stuff, but to promote his stuff as well. And so this was a huge moment because the minute we posted this, everyone went crazy. They were like, "Oh my god!" So it was a huge opportunity, a great opportunity I got to with one of my favorite artists of all time.
I see a crossover coming in the future. Look, crossover comic event. I'm in with it. I'm down with it.
Yeah, hey, look, I'm good with crossovers. I love crossovers. So I'm Yeah. Remember when Marvel DC tried to do crossover?
Yeah.
That whole argument. That really started some beef. That started some beef in the street.
Like I will say, the idea was great, but the execution, But hey, at least that's the one time we get to see the 2 powerhouses together. So.
Exactly. And then I think from here I just have, so you have, are these all, so I know there's 5 covers we got sent in total, so I guess 5 different covers, right? Pretty much.
Yep. So five different covers. So I got This is where of course cover sales. So the first one is the main cover we have for the main retailers, whatever. So that's the main cover on the left, and then the right one, I'm also doing 2 versions. So there's the regular version with the colors and everything. The one on the right is a manga version, and this is where I look. I'm a mega fan as well. I love anime and manga. I might be a newbie because I'm not so well versed into the anime fans, but regardless, I'm a manga fan. So I figured this would be a good time to start working on some manga art, and so. And that's why I have the logo. Like you see on the logo, it's black and white to kind of indicate, black and white manga. That's where I get to give people opportunities to say, hey, you want a manga book, you want a comic book. So this will be the first for us, introduction to doing manga books along with comic books.
Smart, smart, bro.
Wow. Yeah, talking with different demographics is always good.
Yes, yeah. And so, and especially with demographics, we got two other. So these two covers were commissioned by some of my favorite artists. The first one we already introduced. That was Isaiah Massey as well. So I asked him to do a cover for me because, again, I love his work. I love his, his characters. There, I said I need your help on this cover, and so I had him think of Dragon Ball Z when he goes Super Saiyan, and do that for my character. And he said, "Okay, I got you." And that's exactly what he did. So he tried to do a power up when he powers up, and you have this whole aura, in the background as he's, transforming. So, and that was the concept we had for Atlas. And believe it or not, people were going crazy for this cover because when I put it up, everybody was like, "I want this cover. I want this one."
Yeah,
so
that's really cool.
So it was nice. And then the one on the right, I commissioned. So I'm also a fan of it's the guy by the name of Art of Isaac. He's a Nigerian artist, and he's very well known for. He does a lot of portraits and pinups of some black characters. Most likely, he likes to draw female characters, and he has a huge fan base for it. And I wanted him to, and I love his work, and I wanted to, bring him into the mix. Say, I need a cover because as the first three, there are already covers for Atlas, the heroes. So I figure why not do one for the villains because the villains need some shine. So
of course, makes sense.
I spent a lot of time on my villains. I needed them to get a cover. So.
I was gonna say they need a forefront. That's it.
Yeah. So
that guy gotta win sometimes.
Yeah.
That's how you hate him.
And this one was I call it a key visual. So in anime, they have like poster promoting, the upcoming season or whatever. So this is my key visual, and this one everyone went ballistics. So this one I promoted back in, I think it was in spring. Because it's been a while. This is what in the working phase I was working on a comic, and I need something to get people, motivated. And so I wanted to do a really cool. I had this idea of mixing because I was watching Kinging, was it Kinging Ashura, Baki, Attack on Titan, and then the visuals behind those was amazing. And I said, I want to implement that kind of feel because that's the kind of feel I want from my combo. That's very tense. It can be gruesome at times. So this was the initial concept where you have the big bad in the front, in the background, and then all your villains wrapping around, that cover with Alice in the bottom. And so, and then if you look closely, you see there's a logo on behind the characters. That's the logo for the elites. Which is the E with the little lighting on there. So and then so it was so well favored that I figured that people loved it, and I said, why not put this as a cover? Because
it's dope.
it was crazy. So and that's how the deal went to be. So
I need a poster of that.
Very cool.
We might need signed posters of that one. Happen to be laying around that you don't need. Feel like shipping off to some cool guys, or something. So, how do you come up with new concepts for the story? Because there's so many people now trying to do their own comic book, and a lot of stories are kind of repetitive. How do you what you do fresh?
So when it comes for me, when it comes to the new concept, because when I first started, I was just like everybody else. I fell into the same trope of the superhero, he gets his powers mixed with, like, he gets an accident and then he becomes this. And then, so, as time goes by, I started trying to find something original. So a lot of times I will always look at, read some books, read some comic books, watch some TV shows, trying to get some ideas, because, sometimes I just go outside and then I would just come up with, sometimes it's ideas. It's amazing whether you're in the shower or you walk outside, just ideas just start flowing in your head and you're just like, oh, that's a really nice idea. So with those ideas, so what I did for Atlas, I had the idea that I wanted to do kind of like an anti-base hero, but I wasn't sure where the story would go. And then I thought of this idea, of what if we had this, story of what if we had the villains, what if the villain was right? Like, what if he's trying to right the wrongs, maybe in the wrong way, kind of like with how like Killmonger, like we see it in the Black Panther first movie where he's making sense, but of course his actions may be wrong, but he still got some ideas, and so with that type of concept, I had that similar concept with Atlas, and I thought, oh, that's cool, and then from there. I started working with the characters because I like the story to work with the characters instead of the story kind of develop itself. That which is also one of the tropes where the plot kind of moves the story in. But I love the working with the characters. So when I was working on the elites, I made sure each character has their own story, their own background, what they're feeling, because I feel like if no one connects with the characters, then what's the point of trying to get into the story? And so, and it's funny because I spend more time with my villains than I do with my hero. But hey, that's all right. So, just by looking at different mediums and going around, venturing around, ideas just come from your head, and that's what led me into creating these different stories. So, it's amazing. It was an amazing experience for me.
All right, I got a couple questions. All right, as you said before, you as a kid you used to collect comics. All right, what is your holy grail? And you as a comic collector knows. You should know what is your holy grail book. If you had the money right now, you would say, "I'm spending it, and that's the book I'm going to get."
the holy grail.
Yeah, your holy grail, because everybody's is different. So I just want your holy grail.
That's a tough one because I'm trying to get all the issues for Venom Lethal Protector, the classic one, because they're super expensive. Like I managed to get a couple issues, but I'm missing like one or two. And I got like one of the issues I got that was like kind of like a foil cover, like with the top foil. Right. But yeah, I would say that one because that one I try to collect for months or years. It's just like because it's so rare now. But but that was my favorite incarnation of Venom because I love the classic Venom. The new one, it's cool and all, but give me classic Venom all day.
All right. You before you mentioned 3 of the greats, top 5 greatest artists in your eyes that you get some inspiration from, and you can name the same 3 that you named before.
Okay, so what I said before, Todd McFarlane.
Yes.
There's a new one in DC. Jorge. I can't even pronounce his name. Jorge Jimenez, the one that did Superman.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love his work. Work. Lord jeez. Ryan Stegman. And I got one more. I'm trying to think of another one. Dude, who was the one that did? Oh, Jim Lee.
Yeah. Jim Lee's classic.
I kind of knew that's where it was going, but
I kind of thought that's where you're gonna go too.
Yeah.
All right, so I have a question. I'm gonna jump in here because I know you mentioned you like to read manga before. So do you watch anime as well? Watch and read? Just read, really? Okay.
Yep.
Give me your top 3 anime then. I'll go with that.
Okay. Gurren Lagann, Fire Force, and
really?
And Attack on Titan.
And Attack on Titan. Okay. Okay, cool. I started watching Fire Force not too long ago, and I do have to say I'm in like the middle-ish. It's pretty. That's a good anime. That's a solid anime.
Can I add a 4th one?
You can add 5 if you want, bro. Go for it.
Because this one was my first introduction to anime. Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, the OG. The OG.
That one, that's what grew me to love anime first. I was like that one, and then Gurren Lagann too, because both of those animes, I was like, oh my god, what have I been missing?
I would say a lot of the time you ask people anime, and if they're like, oh, what really introduced you to it? It's usually either depending on who you ask, either like Cowboy Bebop or Dragon Ball Z. It's usually one way or the other.
Yeah. Now it's funny because my brother is into Dragon Ball. I didn't get to Dragon Ball till later because he started when he was very young.
Yeah.
But I got the Dragon Ball later down the line. But for me, it was Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, makes sense.
Definitely. Oh, okay. So, how many characters are in the universe?
Ooh, I want to say 8 probably, if I'm including the hero, the protagonist per se. So probably
Okay.
8.
Okay.
And I only reveal, so for the villains, like I'll introduce 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, and I got like 3 more that's going to be in the later series, but I got 8 so far.
Okay. Shit. Okay.
Mhm.
So being an artist, let me ask you, because this is kind of a hot topic now. So a lot of people are now doing this AI art thing, and I know that it's not
Mhm.
popular with a lot of artists that like yourself that draw. So what's your perspective on this?
So with the AI art, because I like you said, I've seen a lot of trends. There's a lot of people their intake on it. For me, AI, it's a wonderful tool. It's a great tool, but I feel like if you put it in the wrong hands, that's when the error goes bad. And I've seen
Mhm.
somebody put it. They put an explanation. It was a really good explanation on on I think it was on LinkedIn, trying to explain how artists use the references versus the AI, which I wholly agree. Because when I do my commissions, I fall into they tell me what they want. I get the references, and then I would go and find those references, and then I would try to create unique concepts, and see what the intake is. Versus AI, it just takes like certain pixels of each picture. It don't matter whose picture it is. It could be your artwork, it could be any artwork, and it just creates little pictures. Um, Now on the other side, when it comes for like artists who are just trying to make concepts, like for me, I could see myself using AI for like just to create a quick concept. Like let's say I just want to create, I don't know, I want to create, a whole tribe of assassins or something like that, just to
Right.
get the quick concept. But I would just leave it there. I would not try to, promote myself out there and say, "Look what I have done," because all I did was just simply type words to
Yeah.
get the results. Versus an artist, they simply they take their time, they get the photos, they come up with the concepts from their own mind, and then try to make it look presented in a good way. So um yeah, like I said, it's a wonderful tool, but you have to know how to use it properly. Because I feel like the errors with the AI is that there's no restrictions, there's no set of rules and
Yeah.
regulations. It's literally
Yeah.
just, hey guys, there's mid journey, go crazy, do
Yeah.
whatever, and
And that's the thing.
there's no restrictions or nothing.
And that's the thing that it's going the way these the kids are doing it now. It's going to take away from the imagination.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's gonna deflate their imagination because all you got to do is just say, okay, ninja
Mm-hmm.
dragon body, and something comes out, and 2 hours later you got something that looks like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then you're stealing somebody else's art because
Absolutely.
they're getting the images from artists like you that post and took the time to learn to hone your craft and
Yeah.
post it and then not get paid for it. That's where I have a problem with.
Yep.
You guys spend years and hours and spring fingers and all this other shit, holding pencils and shit,
Yeah.
and they just going on the internet searching every picture that they can and meshing it together and see what
Yeah.
look good
Yeah.
Yeah.
and not giving nobody the commission.
It's a really sad time because I feel like for a lot of artists, like you said, they work like countless hours trying to craft their piece and whatever, and then just for a robot, a machine to just take it and just be like, hey, because like I've seen it happen to this is really well famous Instagram person named Sam Does Art. He has a very unique style because he does portraits and he has a very unique style. And somebody tried to replicate that look through the AI, and like they will say like I want a picture of this girl, but do it in his art style. And just like the AI does, it just goes to Sam Does Art's pictures and learns about the style, and then they try to implement it, and then it would trend because Mid Journey will allow you to do that. And the artist Sam Does Art, he has no idea. He didn't even know what just happened because like he knows after the fact because he just seen these pictures and he's like, I didn't draw that. What's going on? And so I think part of the problem too is that with the way this technology is, people are not understanding the dangers that it could cause. So, and what I was saying before, that we need to find a way to, put some, rules and regulations, because again, because a lot of these things that's happening, like right now, they're talking about this lawsuit that's happening with the companies that's, allowing these AI companies to start that,
Yep.
that's a big big step, because for instance, if someone had that other experience, what can they do? If there's no rules and regulations, how can they protect their copyright? How can they protect their artwork and so forth? So
I think Todd McFarlane joined that lawsuit because this somebody did an AI of his famous Spider-Man pose.
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
So
Well,
and dude, it looks like his work.
yeah.
It looks like it looks.
It's
so
crazy.
I think-
Yeah, it's
No, go ahead.
crazy.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, so for me personally, because I also do graphics and stuff like that. For me, there's two sides of this thing, because on the one hand, as you say, it's great for reference. So if I'm trying to create something, I can put it in this AI who will help me kind of render what I'm supposed to be doing. But now there is the consumer base, because everybody now has these filters that you can put your picture in, you do your selfie. And then there is the commercial version of this thing where somebody can take, as you say, Todd McFarlane. Give me Todd McFarlane draws the thing, and make him cosmic, and then the AI. For me, I'm seeing this thing like in the 80s. There was a thing when hip hop started really getting big and started making money about sampling, and this kind of falls to me in that same era where or Discord is going to have to start paying out some type of fee to copyrighted commercial artists, whose stuff is found in their database and whatnot. And also, if they're going to allow people to do this, then these pieces of art cannot be sold and cannot be registered as original art. They can only be used, through social media type of transitions, not something that you can print and reproduce and whatnot. Because to me, that still falls under the same type of copyright and whatnot.
Yeah.
I understand why a lot of artists don't like it, but the one thing I can tell you from professionally being in IT for 20 years, you can't stop progress. You have to figure out how to best protect yourself and whatnot, and see what's coming before it gets there.
Yeah. The same thing happened with ArtStation. I've seen how when they first started, of course, the idea that you could generate images in an instant with just text prompts, and so people start on ArtStation. This, I believe, if you ever seen it, people started going crazy telling ArtStation we're not posting here and there. And how it started was that somebody started selling the artwork. Like they would create a series of, they'll be like characters like based on the theme. So they'll say, I want some some Valkyries or something like that. Like I want images of Valkyries, and then they will sell it as a set, or like one of those in the marketplace. They will sell like images for people to use for references, and like I said, ever since then, people started following after that bandwagon. They start lets all you see is just AI images. There's no creation, nothing. It's just generate images. And like people like myself were like, well, what's going on? Well, why are they allowing this to happen? Why are these companies allowing these things to happen and getting away with it? Because again, like you said, these images are copyrighted. These people at their work, and it's just being sown by somebody who just literally just went to the thing and started coming. So it's really a trying time for a lot of us, artists and so forth, because it's already bad enough that we're trying to do our best to copyright it, but now we got to fight an AI system that does have no regulations, and then you got to find another way to counteract that, because like you said, people are just taking it for granted. People are just they just see it as a tool for them to sell and to merchandise and everything, not knowing that you're not only hurting the artists, but you're hurting the whole economy and everything behind that. So it's
and
just
this is not just not art. Also,
It's not.
I mean, let me just say it because now AI, like they have sites where you can go in and AI will not only write your copyright for you, but they actually have like little video bots that will read and read the entire copyright for you. So now, if I'm a rapper and I can't rap, I can actually put what I want to rap about in the AI and have him write the entire freaking song and whatnot, and say write a rap like Jay-Z meets Kendrick Lamar, and then
Had a baby with Kanye,
and with a beat like Kanye, and now this is where it's going and whatnot, and But again, one thing I know about with technology when it first comes out, it's always wide open. At some point, they're going to slam the door shut on this because they're going to say, "Listen, we're losing millions of dollars. You got to fix this." You know what I mean? So I would expect to start seeing something coming along. And now like every art app has this little AI thing where you can text the image and you type something in. Some of them are really trashy, but they're still pulling from stuff that's out there and that belongs to someone else. So I definitely get it.
Right,
So
I got one more question. What's the future? What's the future looks like for Atlas and your whole catalog?
So for my future, I would say probably like 10 years down the line, I'm looking at a brand new universe. I call it the TDJ verse, where we're building upon these great characters, these great universes. So like I mentioned that Atlas was one of the elementals. We're going to have have them, the heroes get together. They're going to call themselves the Elemental Squad, so that's going to be entire of itself. So I see this phase one launching as I see, TDJ Comics turn into its own thing, and people fall in love with these characters. So there'll be a new universe coming in. A new universe awaits.
Sweet.
Okay. So how do people pick up these current books? Were you going to be any place soon so people can get that signature on it?
So right now, if you want to pre-order your book, I have it on Kickstarter. It's Atlas Edge of Rebellion. So you can go ahead and pre-order your copy. We got so many different options. I'm also planning on going to Comic Cons. I already signed up for one in my local area. It's called Fredericksburg Comic Con. There's some others that I'm planning on going. I can't really confirm yet until I get notifications. But this year, I'm planning on going to meet y'all in person, for those books. So gonna look out.
If you hit New York,
you hit New York.
We'll be in the building.
Yes, sir.
All right, so
and just for everybody watching, we'll leave links to everything in the description below. This way you can find where you can pick up the comic books, check out the artwork and all that stuff. We'll leave links to all the socials and all that good stuff for all the people below.
Okay. All right, so listen, if nothing else, man, my man Tarik Holmes, listen, thank you for coming through, boy. Make sure you pick up that Atlas and whatnot, and all those other books. Artwork's dope, stories dope, and whatnot. Like we tell all our guests, man, our doors always open. Your family now, anything you're doing, definitely come back our way, hit us up and whatnot. Don't forget those posters because I know you want to get those to us and whatnot. And just again, man, thank you for coming through.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate you guys. This has been fun. It's been cool.
That's what this is what happens. How it goes down in the man cave. All right, man. Hey, if nothing else, peace out.
Peace.
Bye, everybody.